For those I haven't met, I'm Kerri Lum, and the course that I focused on this semester is Marketing 120, which is Principles of Marketing. And the whole objective of the project is to build over the course of the semester a marketing plan to market a new product or service. The students are in the role of an entrepreneur, and I, as the instructor, am in the role of the president and CEO of BigBucksForYou investment company. And they're going to be turning in their marketing plan to me in hopes that my investment company will fund the money for their startup. So they have to convince me that they have a strategic plan. The project has real-world relevance. For anyone starting a business, you have to do a marketing plan. I always tell students, though, the fun thing about taking the class is even if you're not going to be a marketer or entrepreneur, you market things in your life every day. So developing a marketing plan to prove to an investment company you have a strategic plan that's going to work is really no different than when they're ready to go and find a job and they put together a strategic plan for how to sell themselves to the company that they want to be hired by. As far as the authentic activities and tasks, in the past I've taught the class without ill-defined questions. I would basically tell them they're looking to prove profitability and these are the steps that they need to show me they need to do. In this case, we went ill-defined. So I'm having them brainstorm together to figure out if you were an investment company and you were going to risk money on a marketing plan, what would you be looking for? I'm not going to tell you, let's put yourself in that role and think about it and come up with the ideas. Another example of how the tasks are much more authentic. In the past, I would tell them, you need to do a market research survey. Questions that you need to find answers for in order to do the second half of the project are this, this, and this. Now I step back and make it more ill-defined. Well, what kind of research would you do based on what you're learning in the class? Would it be a survey by mail? Would it be a focus group? And why? And what kind of questions do you think you should be asking? So I'm not going to say these are things to look for. The ill-defined question is, what do you need to find answers for in the survey in order to come up with a strategic plan? I'm allowing students to get feedback from outside experts in this format. When they send me segments of their plan for feedback, I, as the investment company, will not just be giving my feedback, but I have two industry experts that are collaborating, and sometimes I'll send them the segment of the marketing plan and they'll tell me from their real-world experience what they would be asking the student. So it'll bring in some outside mentorship in addition to just myself. So the students work in small teams and they do a lot of collaboration in order to reflect on different ideas. To give you an example, it's an 11-week project, and 8 weeks out of the 11, they'll be collaborating in teams to talk about their ideas, reflecting on other people's comments. And of those 8 weeks, during 4 of the weeks, they'll be collaborating with the whole class. So they'll be using the Laulima Forum tool to give their idea, for example, of their customer profile that they think they want to go after for their product based on the product's strengths and weaknesses. And they need to get feedback from other students and then adjust their plan based on that feedback. And students are graded not only on posting those questions, but also they're graded on replying to other people's questions. So everyone has to participate and do a back and forward, which I think will make a much better product in the end. As far as the polished product, they turn in a formal marketing plan. It doesn't have to be fancy, but it does have to be on Microsoft Word. It does have to meet font requirements so that it's not like a 16 font to meet the page requirements. The same things you'd find in a normal type of classroom. But they now are able to really build the project from scratch in order to, at the end, prove to the investment company that they've got a good idea. So it's the ill-defined piece that's changing quite a bit. And lastly, I'll mention that I have a rubric built for every step. So almost every week they'll be getting points for things. And the marketing plan, instead of it being turned in all at once at the end, it comes in 3 sections. So after section 1, the investment company will give feedback, allowing the student and the teams to make changes, and then part 2, and then the final part 3. So they get a lot of feedback from myself and the industry experts before they're expected to turn in their final piece.